4 people have been killed in 3 separate shootings incidents in Kraaifontein, Cape Town. Police spokesperson Wesley Twigg has confirmed the incidents. At least 6 people, including 4 women, have been shot and killed across Kraaifontein in separate incidents in the past week. In another incident, 3 people were set alight in an apparent act of vigilantism. Mariska Botha joins us now live with an update on what is taking place. Mariska, can you give us a sense of what the latest is in the situation in Kraaifontein? We understand that the police commissioner was there last week or the week before, but that has not been able to get the situation to calm down.
No, not at all. You are 100% correct. As we're standing here, this is our second mass shooting that we as a crew, myself and Lukanya Mazansana behind the camera, is covering. Yesterday in Mfuleni as well, 3 people shot, 1 person injured, also gang-related. Another 2 people shot in Steenberg. That, however, is under investigation. And today, in the early hours of this morning, as you correctly said, 4 people shot in separate incidents in phase 9 of Wallace in Kraaifontein. Now, we were in the area just a few moments ago, but we were told in no uncertain terms that the area is not safe. It is in fact in the same vicinity where 3 people were torched, as you mentioned, in an apparent act of vigilantism. You are correct. The acting minister of police, Professor Firoz Kachalia, was also here this week, and also the National Commissioner. There were high-level talks about the situation, but the crime is, the violence is continuing unabated, and the shooting along with it as well. Community members telling us there, and the Wallace Dean Development Forum telling us there, that they are scared. People are scared. One person told us even in his house he is scared, and they don't know how to get a grip on it. And they're hoping that someone or government will come forward with a practical plan of action that will certainly help curb this kind of violence.
Mariska, give us a sense of the gangs operating in Kraaifontein, and perhaps also locate Kraaifontein for us geographically related to other parts of the city of Cape Town where similar acts of gang violence are taking place.
Well, that's just the thing. It's very difficult to pinpoint exactly where all these types of gang violence will take place. But Kraaifontein is the latest area where we've seen, for lack of a better word, an explosion of this type of violence. Now, Kraaifontein is situated about 30 kilometers north of the city bowl of Cape Town. You get areas where it's informal, and then you get built-up areas as well. So it's a very large area that is Kraaifontein. Kraaifontein is one of the hotspot areas where provincial government's law enforcement advancement program officers are also deployed as part of efforts to curb gang violence. In another part of the city, Bonteheuwel, for example, is another area where gang violence is seen often. Khayelitsha of late, Mfuleni, as we saw yesterday. So that's one of the key issues, and it's important that you mention it, that it's difficult to pinpoint exactly where these things will take place. And earlier this week, we spoke to an expert on global crime of this nature, organized crime, and he says without a dedicated intelligence program and all spheres of government eliminating whatever issues exist between them, there will be no winning this kind of violence. So there needs to be a concerted, intelligence-driven effort to fight this kind of crime. But these areas are all located on what is known as the Cape Flats. Kraaifontein, where we were now, a little bit outside of the area, but certainly situated around Khayelitsha, Mfuleni, and now here in Kraaifontein this week is the scene where we saw those horrific murders earlier this week. 6, as you mentioned, shot and killed, and the very next day in the area where we just came from, 3 people torched in an act of apparent vigilantism because they were accused of allegedly being responsible for high crime levels. So all areas across the Cape Town, Cape Flats area is very, very tense. It's a very tense situation. It's a very dangerous situation. And we have entire communities living in fear and living in terror because of this.
Yeah. How much police visibility have you been able to observe going in and out of Kraaifontein?
Well, always with an incident like this, where any murder has been committed, you will see a lot of police. So certainly now, while the forensic team was busy, we saw them taking one of the bodies away in the mortuary van. There was a lot of police because they also have to protect the officers who's working on the scene while they're busy collecting evidence. But the Wallace Dean Development Forum told us that there is visible policing in the area. They said they see police every day. They see these LEAP officers that are being talked about. The issue is, and this gentleman mentioned it as well, is that the police or law enforcement is always reactive. There's no proactive, seemingly, efforts made to prevent this kind of activity from taking place. And the only way to do that, really, is to stifle the activity of gangs. There are a number of gangs that operate across the Cape Flats. It's too many to mention. So it's not possible at this point in time to tell you exactly how many, but there's quite a number of gangs that are operating across the Cape Flats. And as we know, most of the leadership or alleged leaders of criminal enterprises and alleged leaders of gangs are currently before the courts in the Western Cape. So as soon as someone is in court or is sent to prison, there's a vacuum that's created, and then the fighting begins. And the police have told us over and over again, it's about turf, in other words, the area. It's about the drug trade and so many other issues that play into the whole setup of what gangs are busy with.
Yeah. Mariska, thank you so much for that report. Really do appreciate it. Mariska coming to us live from Kraaifontein in Cape Town.